Hello and welcome to the first episode of Token Tom. This is the show where we'll go over BSC, Binance Smart Chain projects, try and teach you what's good, what's bad, what are good investments, what are bad investments, how to spot them, and how you can make your own informed decisions. As always, this is not actual genuine financial advice. This is just me trying to give some tips and hints on how I do it in my daily trading and what I look for in projects. So today we'll be focusing on MarketMove. MarketMove is a recently launched token which focuses on um, trying to spot scams and rug pulls in currently the Binance Smart Chain, but looking in the future to expand to the other networks as well. I think the first one's Ethereum. So they've delivered their first bit of the app, so they're saying it's 15% of what the apps sort of will be, but they're focusing on using AI and machine learning to try and sort of find and stop scams in the Binance Smart Chain. So we'll dive in and we'll have a look. Today we're going to go through a few different bits here. I've got my notes. We're going to go through a project overview. We're going to have a look at their website. We're going to look at the app. We're going to look at some socials. We'll go through the team, the holders, charts, and where I think in the future we might be looking to go. So starting off with the project overview of MarketMove, it's as I was saying, it's a app or a platform which can inform your decisions around whether a project is a scam or legitimate or whether there's issues in the code. And effectively, it's a way for non-technical holders or non-technical investors to dive a little bit deeper than your general Telegram questions and looking at the read contract. So yeah, we'll hop into the website and we'll have a little look. And as you can see, I've got the page open on the MarketMove website, and the URL is marketmove.ai. I think it's a really professional website. It looks good. It's got all their listings. Straight off the bat, we can see the coup here, which is Michael. I've spoken with him, and he seems to be a really nice guy. This is a recent new joiner here. Going on, it's got some information, and it's a good website. Which what we can expect from that is it is a big project, and this is what I would call like a high value project within BSC. They've had a good um, pre-sale, they've got a reasonable market cap, they've got a team working full time on it, and that really does highlight and sort of show through in the website. So we have a few of the different features. So right now you can see all these different bits here. Right now we're only the AI contract audit is live. So and that's great. It's good to see that after just under, I think it was 3 weeks. So that's great progress and shows that they mean what they're saying, and they actually do have the skills to deliver on that, because it's not something nowadays in BSC, everyone's looking to try and make some easy money and to launch some easy projects. And AI and writing the code and implementing it on a web app isn't something which everyone can do. So it shows they've got the skills to deliver, which is great. Shows they sort of know what they're talking about, and they've got some really high caliber candidates on their team. So I think Adam, the AI guy, was working at Google before this, and they've got some really big names on their CVs, and that's great to see. So we'll continue on some how to buys. I saw these were released today, and then a roadmap. And yeah, I think it's a pretty standard roadmap, to be honest. It's a delivery based roadmap. The idea is as we get on through time, more and more of the app will be delivered, and more use cases will come out. So right now, we've got the generic sort of the social channels are born, this sort of stuff. And then on to two, we've got CMC and CoinGecko. That's fine. Um, Odd they have CMC on here. Oh, supply and then listing, which they are listed on both. IDA Coin partnership is recently been announced, and that's quite a good step forward. It means you can buy MarketMove with fiat just directly from your bank, so that's a good step. And then going forward, it's really going to be around the delivery, I would have thought, and then eventually, I mean, a Binance to me, a Binance is a little bit of a big thing. Not to say it won't happen, but I'll go on to why I think that in the future, and expansion onto other networks. So I think that's really going to be the key, because this is a project which is limited by the users in Binance Smart Chain, and if we can expand that up, it can become a bit more of a market move universe instead of just a straight app. List some of the team, but we'll come back in a minute and we'll have a look through that. And then we have a look at the fees. This is a high fee token, and that's worth bearing in mind from the start, from the get go. Is that I think buys is 7 and sells is 18. So big numbers on the sells, and in my opinion, maybe too big, but we'll go on to that in the future. We have a white paper which we can have a little look at. It's a pretty nice looking white paper. It's got all the information you'd expect, project overview, um, a bit about the team, which I said we'll go on to in the future. A little use case. I know Michael has a background with some companies, so sort of goes through that and talks a little bit around that side of things. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. We have some bits around how it works, all sorts of different bits around the AI models they're using and the machine learning models. Little view on the app, which I'll go on to show you now. So uh, yeah, so they have their first one out, which I've already mentioned a couple of times, and we can go on to go see it over here. So this is their app. If you hold X, I think it's $100 worth of Move, you're enabled to use the app. And the way it works is you can either paste a contract address. So we'll just search in here for SafeMoon as one that I assume will be in the search. Okay, here we go, SafeMoon. Click it and it does a standard URL forwarding here, and it will tell you a little bit of information. So first off, you can see the contract that's actually being issued and that's being actioned, and then it gives you some information. So it's got a fairly high score. It's reasonably decentralized. The security and the code quality. From what I've explored quite a few different contracts on here now, and this is quite standard, I think, is code quality is generally quite low, and the other two can be quite high unless there's a genuine issue with the contract. So, and that's one thing that I would like to touch on, is that this is AI and it's machine learning. Now, I've asked in the chat a couple of times, but with no sort of response on it, is this a learning algorithm, in the fact that over time will we see the results be fed back in and sort of it will learn and continue to improve? Because as an example, I know a couple of projects have been given criticals on Certic to say, this project isn't decentralized or whatever it may well be, but on here they have quite a high decentralization score. So there is a step that I think would be great to see, and that would be a sort of learning, a learning method which would allow it to improve and get better and become safer over time to help you guys really avoid the scams and the rugs. So yeah, and then we're going to have a little look at their socials. So we'll head back over here and we'll have a little look at the top here. I think they have their socials. We can have a look at the Telegram, sort of just see the numbers. So 11,000 members in the Telegram with 1,535 online. It's a steady amount. It's a good amount for the holders, I would say. And that's right in line. I would say that shows that they're not bought or not largely inflated by through bought members or bots, because they have a good online to members rating, and generally it's quite a busy, quite a packed Telegram chat. So I'd say it's a healthy number, and I'd say it sort of shows where they're going. In terms of Twitter, they have a very active Twitter. We can go over there now and just have a little look. Here we go. Oh, it's forwarded me to there. Oh no. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, so in terms of their Twitter, they have an active Twitter with 22k followers. They get quite a lot of interactions on their tweets, and they do a lot of updates, and that's one thing I have to really stress that they're great at here at MarketMove, and that is updates to the community. They're hot on it in updates, at least an update every day, if not every 6-7 hours. They're providing an update or an announcement or that side of things, which is generally done through their announcements channel, which I think is really good. It's good to see, and it's good to keep the holders active. And then let's go and have a quick look at the team. So this is where things get really interesting. So the team starts off with, and the main guy here is at the top. He's Michael Novak. He's a managing partner in the coup. He's got other successful AI firms, and has been mentioned in Financial Times and Bloomberg, and that's that can be quite a big deal. That can show that there's some reputation behind it. At the start, on the pre-sale, there were some worries that there were fake accounts and a lot of rumours being coming up, but I think that's all been sort of proven now, and he's gone through it. I've personally spoken with him via voice messages and a quick call, and he seems like a nice guy. There's only one negative I would say around it, and that's that he is maybe a little bit positive about his own project. I always think it's a little bit weird when project owners are saying, yes, we'll be on 1 billion soon, or yes, we're the best, or we will be at 100 million by next week, because when you say that to your holders, there's a promise in it, in that your holders will take every word you say as guarantee, and that can be seen by, there are people in the chat who are saying, I'm looking forward to when it's 1 billion, and you have to remind them that this is a high liquidity project, and reaching 1 billion is hard. That's a serious milestone that no project can underestimate. So that's one thing I would say, and I would say if I was giving him advice, I would say let's tone down sort of project support for your own project, because it can just look a little bit false, and it sets you up for failure really, because 100 million or 200, 500 million would be a fantastic milestone for a use case project. And yeah, so anyway, Martin Stafosek, sorry for butchering your name, um, works at Capgemini, a known great data science and AI company. They do consulting all across the world, but really focus in my area, and I know a lot about them. I've personally seen his name places, as well as I've interviewed for jobs below him at some of the companies he's been at. I have nothing to say about him personally, but I would say it's a fantastic addition to the team. He's come on full time, and that's a massive step. I mean, that shows that behind the scenes stuff is happening, because for someone like him to take his secure job and come over to MarketMove is not something to take lightly. So I'd say it's fantastic to hear, and it's fantastic to see. Adam, undoxed, but is the AI guy. He's the one who writes the code, I believe. And I don't. He's not doxed. I don't know much about him, but I do know if there's anything to be followed on, that he's produced these models for the current app, then that's good things coming, and I think it's great to see that. So we'll see in time, really. And then the other five, I haven't had much interaction with, but I know that they have a large budget and the marketing seems to be going. So I've seen them in chat a little bit, and I've seen them sort of chatting with people. So it stands to see how they'll go on in the future. So that sort of concludes the team at the moment. But actually, we can just see down here some of the big names they've worked at: McKinsey, Google, ASOS, Micron, Capgemini. I mean, those are all big companies, and they're all companies which are sort of movers forwards in their own respective space. So I think it's great to see. Yeah, so going on from there, we're going to have a look at the holders and just generally their sort of BSC page. So here it is. So we have 46,696 holders. Now this comes with a serious premise. They have taken a marketing move to airdrop to lots and lots of wallets. Now, I personally don't know the effect of that. I've personally seen holders be worried by that, thinking it's a scam, or it's what's called dusting, the idea that you drop one token into a wallet and they start saying, I've had a token airdrop to me publicly, and you then know who the wallet belongs to. So personally, I would say maybe it's not the best move. They say they've had great success in it, and I don't doubt that. I'm sure if they say they've had great success, they've had great success. But I do think it inflates the numbers, it confuses people, and in general, it just can be a little bit of a sort of a dark move. But it's not to say that it's malicious or anything. I think maybe it has had the great intention. They're doing well, so it's hard to comment on it truly from that side of things. They obviously have their coin market cap, but they are actually a massively burnt token, so this fully diluted market cap isn't true, and that's something I'd like to go on to again. So generally in Binance Smart Chain, it's considered that 2 or 3% is the correct amount. Any more than that, and if one wallet holds more than 2 or 3%, it can be worrying, and that's because they have a lot of effect on the market. So now they've burnt 75% of the tokens, and my response to that would be, why? This project was launched and then it was immediately burnt, and to me I would say, why didn't you just start with a smaller supply? And that and there's only really one reason that I can think why they would do that, and that's to sort of hide inflated numbers. And the one I'll sort of start off with is this wallet here. So we can see here the wallet is 3.4%, but actually if we take Excel out here and we have a little look, we'll bring this over to here, and we'll bring this over to here. So we have a total supply of whatever that is, a quadrillion. We have this is amount burnt, which gives us the total amount left as whatever this number is here, 241 billion. Now, we'll take how many of the tokens the big wallet holds, divide this by that, which gives us 14%. So actually, it's far, far higher than what they're saying it is. And that is a worry, and that is something which you don't want to see in these tokens, because it means they have a controlling supply, they have influence on the market, and more than anything to me, they're trying to hide it. So and maybe they're not, maybe I'm thinking it's a bit of malicious. I'm just here to try and raise the concern to you guys that this is something which people do, and this is something how people can sort of get by on the different bits. Now, I really like the project. I like the team. I like what they're doing. I love the space. This is really my only worry, and I just question the intentions behind it, because if you, let's say for instance you mint a token and then 2 years down the line you burn a load of the tokens, that's fine because at launch you didn't know you were going to do that. Now, if you launch a token and then immediately burn 75% of the supply, what's the point of that? Shouldn't you just mint less tokens and then you don't have to be hiding anything in the holders list? So that's a worry, or not a worry, that's just something I'm raising, and it'll be interesting to see if the team wants to get in contact with me. That'd be great, and we can sort of talk it through, because I'd be really interested to hear why they've done that. But other than that, everything sort of looks pretty simple. Um, we've got 70,000 transactions, so a large amount of transactions, but as we know, there's been a lot of airdrops, so that's to be expected. Um, and then moving on from here, we're going to have a little look at the chart. So my preferred charting software is PooCoin at the moment. I think it's better than, I used to like Bogged, but I've recently gone across to PooCoin. Other than these ads, I think I'll install an ad blocker for the next one. But yeah, so the chart's looking pretty positive. We're sitting at a $9 million market cap. I'm not going to be doing any technical analysis because I don't really believe in it, but hey ho. So, healthy liquidity pool, and that's great to see. A lot of people don't really understand how liquidity pool affects the volatility of a market, but really it controls how much a token swings and how much a token falls. And more than anything, it brings in big buyers, because big buyers aren't going to get their position taken away based on slippage. So, MarketMove, as a result of their big liquidity, does see big buys and big sells, mostly big buys. We can have a look over time and see who are the big spenders. It's just loading now. So we have this wallet here has bought a total of $117,000 worth of MarketMove. We'll have some big sellers as well, of course, because there have been big rises, and where there's big rises you see big sells. So that's to be expected. And overall, I'd say it's looking pretty healthy. Obviously, we had a big pullback. The pre-sale was obviously down here. Now, the pre-sale, they actually did a big pre-sale, a very big pre-sale, up to a hard cap of 4,000 BNB. Now, that actually failed based on the direction of Adam. He's put forward an announcement saying, please don't enter into this. We're going to close this pre-sale and then relaunch with a smaller pre-sale. And I think that was good. It created some buying pressure at launch. As can be seen here, there was a lot of hype on the launch, a little bit of a dip, and then they've sort of brought it back, and it's cruising on up now. So I'd say it's in a great point, and I think it's nowhere near the top now. A $9 million market cap is tiny considered what this could be, and what they want it to be, and the ambitions of the project are high, and the market cap at the moment is low. So I'd say it's looking like a positive time to buy. I would say I couldn't expect we see a big run up at some point soon, and the main meat of the app isn't even launched yet, so I think it's quite positive. And if we look at the future of the project and we talk around the future of MarketMove, we'll head back over here and we'll have a look through the website, and I think it just highlights what something could be of this stage. So we look at the stages here. They have big goals, listing on Binance, MarketMove 2.0, which isn't really confirmed what it's going to be. And just generally the app, we're in the early stages. Apparently, according to the team, 15% of the app is currently in the market, so that's the contract launch, but everything else isn't released yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they launch them and how those come to market. It'll be interesting to see if it's as successful as sort of tips off to be. I would say my personal opinion is that it is going to be a reasonably successful project. I would expect the market cap. My realistic market cap goal for the next year would be 100 million. Obviously with C, one thing I think that's really going to affect this token and really would affect this token is if they can reduce the fees down. And obviously a lot of exchanges will ask them to remove the fees, because when you get into the bigger exchanges, they do ask that you don't have fees. So especially that 18% on sell, it does feel a little bit like you're captured when you're in your holding move, because you just can't sell for that 15% well, that 18% loss. And even if you're not planning to buy in, it's just a huge chunk of your investment gone. And it means the price needs to rise by nearly 30%, which, on a smaller token is nothing, but on a token which has nearly $1 million worth of liquidity, it is significant. So that's something that I think would massively benefit, is if they can reduce the sort of fees or that side of things. They do have this price protect function, which personally I don't know how much use it is, but that's to be decided over the time of the future. But hopefully you've enjoyed my review of MarketMove, the AI contract-driven sort of DeFi platform. It's been great to sort of inform you about it, and if you have any questions, please ask me or join my Telegram or post in the comments below. But I'm more than happy to help out in any way, and it's been great speaking to you. So until next time, this has been Token Tom, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks, bye.